I've already started Vlogmas and I didn't realise. I have turned my fan off for you. That is love, but I have not closed my window. I don't love you that much. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Debbie, and as you may have gathered from other Vlogmas videos, I am not filming these in December. I am filming them as I finish the books, which for me in this case is June, in the middle of a heat wave. So, today's book I read on Kindle, not on BorrowBox. I actually paid for this one. And this book is by Carrie Fletcher and it's called In the Time We Lost. You might have noticed I've been making my way through Carrie's books lately, and this was the next one. It wasn't available to read on BorrowBox, so I read it through Kindle. And I would say that this was just such an easy read. I read this in about 2 or 3 days. I'll get the front cover for you because I find it difficult to show it to you on here. I'm just going to have to show you the Google image for it because it's really hard to get the front cover off of Amazon. It's In the Time We Lost. How many times would you start again for love? I'll admit, the front cover, it's beautiful. Whoever does the artwork for Carrie's books, it's just so lovely. Let's get the blurb up for you. Luna Lark used to love her name, but that was before people started saying it differently. I'm so sorry, Luna. Are you alright, Luna? Everything will be okay, Luna. But Luna doesn't want pity. What she wants is a fresh start. Somewhere she can make headway on her next novel, mend her broken heart, and most importantly, keep herself to herself. For that, Luna needs the most remote place she can find, Ondingside, a magical little island off the wild coast of Scotland. And when the town is cut off on her first night by a freak July snowstorm, it feels like fate. But Luna soon realises that being a newcomer in a small town might not be the best way to blend in. People are curious about her. Handsome kind of coffee shop owner Beau in particular. Will history repeat itself, or will they have a future? This is very Groundhog Day. And I don't think it's a spoiler to say that because it literally repeats the same day throughout the book. But it's a kind of Groundhog Day with a twist. Because whereas in Groundhog Day it was obviously the day repeating and only one person realises it's repeating, in this case it's the rest of the world is carrying on while this one island in Scotland is having its own Groundhog Day. So things that they do each day, like the world can record what's happening, they just keep waking up and forgetting. That's this version of Groundhog Day. Because there's like little points when, I think there's about 4 days in to this repeat, when Luna opens up her notebook and realises she's got 4 days worth of notes there with the same date on it. So yeah, eventually some people do start to figure out what's happening. Yeah, just to kind of go straight back to the beginning again. When you first meet Luna, she is stood up on her wedding day. And you find out that she is an orphan, both her parents have passed away, and her whole life has just been turned upside down. And this is kind of the catalyst for her moving away and saying, look, I just need to get away, do some time by myself. I'm going to go back to this island that I visited however many moons ago, and I'm just going to kind of go away and retreat into myself and write my next book, because she's an author. I will say her time on the island does inspire her book. That she writes, which is very fitting, really. Yeah, I just found it a really sweet book. I like the fact that it wasn't completely wrapped up in a bow, and I say bow considering the love interest is called Beau. When she goes to the island, she is remembered by Beau, the guy who runs the coffee shop, because he used to work in a pub which she visited the last time she was there, where she got quite drunk, won a pub quiz by herself, which wasn't really the rules. She was supposed to be somebody else, but she decided her teammate was somebody who was passed out drunk in a corner. So yeah, that was the first impressions that she gave to this island, and yeah, so she kind of remembered for the wrong reasons. So when she goes back, she refuses to tell anybody her name. I found that kind of frustrating a little bit. I mean, I understand why, with the whole thing that she doesn't want anybody to kind of use that, oh, Luna type thing. She just introduces herself as Miss Lark. and you see the kind of the wall that she has put up around herself to kind of protect herself from the world. But as each day repeats, you see that wall being chipped down, and I think that's a really, really cool way to use that repetitive day in a clever way. I don't even know if that just made any sense. Basically, I find it really clever how the author has, because the rest of the world is happening, and basically as soon as it hits midnight they just forget everything that's happened. It means that kind of like their bodies are remembering but their brains aren't. When Beau realises that things are going missing, he was just like, wait, there's less cash in the register, there's my own things kind of going missing, like things aren't where I left them. And then when he eventually views the cameras in the shop, he realises that it's him. He has been moving stuff, and he has been moving cash from the register because people have been coming into the shop and paying for things. That's why less money's in the register, because, you know, at the end of each day he counts everything up and puts it away. I heard people referring to this as like a Groundhog Day, but I didn't realise going in that it was going to be a case of the world is going on without them. So when you do cut to a couple who are not on the island, who are viewing this happening, I say viewing, it's the guy who is viewing it, and he goes, I'm going to go chase this storm, essentially. It seems that they're having a freak snowstorm out there, it's the middle of July and I want to go chasing it, and his girlfriend says, I'm not chasing you anymore, you know, it's not worth it, and they break up. And he becomes the villain of the story, really, because without him the only real villain is the storm. He seemed a very cartoon villain to me, because you have that thing where they have their fight, the couple, and you think, oh, so, you know, he's just broken up and now he's going to go chase this storm. You find out there have been no trains to the island because the trains are down, and so he walks the train tracks to the island. And when he actually gets there and everybody is saying, you know, what are you talking about, like I just came here yesterday, well, in regards to Luna, she's there going, oh, I only arrived on the island yesterday, and he was just like, yeah, you think that's like, what, the 26th? Or was it the 20th? I've lost track of the dates in this book, but yeah, basically because they still think it's the same day, and he's just there going, no, that was 4 days ago, it's this date now, and nobody believes him until Luna sees the diaries, sees her notebook and realises, oh my god, I've actually been writing notes for 4 days and didn't even realise. And obviously you've got the whole cameras in Beau's shop, but it's obvious he's had a lot of time to reflect on his walking the tracks, and he has gotten more miserable in the time that he has walked the tracks. Sounds bonkers, doesn't it? It's a bit of a bonkers book. It's a bit of a bonkers story with a love story at the heart of it, basically, between Luna and Beau. But the state that our villain is in when he arrives on the island, he just becomes a complete drunk. He ends up at Luna's hotel, he goes to the bar, he just gets blind drunk, and it was just like, wait, he was here to chase a storm, and now he's gotten to the point where he just doesn't care anymore. He doesn't care about the storm, he doesn't care about what's happening on the island. There's Luna saying, I thought you came to help us, and he was just like, no. And then it comes to the point when he is doing all he can to sabotage the people who do know what's happening, to stop them from getting off the island. That's the point when it got a bit too cartoon villain for me. It was just like, wait, why is he getting so mixed up in these people's personal lives? I mean, yeah, I get that, you know, his girlfriend has broken up with him and he's just walked however long across the train tracks. But yeah, the fact that it gets to the point when they are looking for him to help and he's just there going, I'm not going to help you. To the point where he actively sabotages people getting off the island. Yeah, it was just, it kind of came out of nowhere a little bit out of nowhere. Because you've got that initial, I say, for lack of a better word, catalyst of what happens to him. But it just seems a bit extreme. It feels like a complete 180. It's possibly also because you only have like one chapter of seeing him argue with his girlfriend before he leaves Rondingside. So when he does show up on the island and he shares his theory about what's happening with the group, I think it's because it's a complete 180 from when we first saw him. It doesn't completely make sense. It doesn't completely make sense. Having said that, I wouldn't say that this was a hard book to read. As I said, I did it in about 2 or 3 days. And the fact that it isn't all neatly wrapped up, you know, there is, because throughout the books it's kind of like that will they, won't they. There's also the fact that Beau, even though he meets her however many times he meets her over that course of that one day that they're repeating, he doesn't understand his relationship. This is Beau, but I'm talking about, by the way. Beau doesn't completely understand that relationship he has with Luna, because even over the however many days it takes, this book takes place over, which I think it's about a week, because like obviously his body and his heart knows what he feels, but his head keeps forgetting. So he does not understand the relationship he has with Luna, because as far as he's concerned, on that final day, he's only known her for one day. For a book that's relatively easy to read, a lot does happen. And it's because of that repetitiveness, and I did find it quite nice that it wasn't too repetitive, because that's kind of the danger with a story like this, that something can become too repetitive. But Carrie Hope Fletcher, the author, she doesn't keep painting out completely the same scenarios. So even if she meets somebody, it's not a complete replica of what happened the last time it happened. God, talking about these kind of stories is really hard. But yeah, I liked it. I did find the villain a bit cartoony, and he did kind of pop up about... It felt like he popped up about 3/4 of the way through, but I think it was probably more about halfway. It wasn't that long a book, to be honest. Do I know how many pages it was? My app didn't tell me how many pages it was, so... Product details, 400 pages it says. And it says romance, time travel, romantic comedy. Yeah, that pretty much summed it up. But yeah, I did enjoy the story. I found that I did find myself kind of like having my heartstrings pulled a little bit. You really do feel for Luna, because she's just got she's really got a brick wall built up around her to protect herself. And the fact that with each day that repeats, you just see that wall kind of being knocked down a little bit, like somebody's like chipping away at it. Because like on the first day, on the actual first day when she first meets Beau, it's like completely guarded, does not want to have a conversation. But then the next day, she's just there going, oh, I feel like I can open up to this person, and her feelings about that with each passing day, you can see her kind of opening up more. Yeah. Trying to talk about something that's kind of a bit time travel-y, repetitive day stuff, it is hard to talk about. But yeah, it was a really lovely book. As I said, it was easy to read. I found it a relatively quick read. It was just nice. It was just nice. In the Time We Lost, Carrie Hope Fletcher. I feel like I haven't given away too much. I've been attacked by a flying thing. Yeah, it was just a nice, lovely book that's easy to read, easy to follow, and it's funny moments. Despite that, it's not the happiest of endings, but I feel like it works. It works. I have got another Carrie Hope Fletcher video coming, because I've been reading With This Kiss, which is the next Carrie Hope Fletcher book. It's her most recent one, actually. Anyway, I'll let you go. So yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, join the lovely little bookworm family. I feel like I should call you my bookworms. I'm trying to figure out, like, should I have a name for you guys? Should I have a name for you? I'm sure other booktubers probably use bookworms and page turners and things, so I just need to find something unique, really. But that's hard to do when it comes to books, and there's probably thousands of booktubers before me, so... Anyway, cheers, thanks a lot. See you tomorrow for another day of Vlogmas. Bye.